Hello, good morning. I'm by the Fort Lauderdale Airport at the end of this one road here. I used to live down that road a long time ago. My mom still lives down there. And I parked over there. It's a little park. And I just want to say God bless everybody and their families. And I hope everybody is having a good day, and they'll have a good day and have a good week. And get rid of the negativity and block yourself from negativity, because it's a bad thing. And like, it's a full moon and people have excuses. So, just don't listen to them. And this is America right here. This we can get in America. Look at this. That's America. It's okay. People, they can, at least they're not pissing in front of kids in the flea market like they used to. It used to be that bad. It still is, and their kids piss right there in front of the flea market too. That's why they call it the Dirty South. Anyway, I'm just gonna sing some tunes, because there's nothing really to say outside of what is already, and you know what is. So I just set up like a little scenery knot here, but that's basically what you got. So I don't even know if it's gonna like record the sound, but what the hell on a Sunday? So it's probably not even tuned, but rather than just waiting someplace and going to a store, I like to find little spots, so I could feel like crystal clear with the world and with the breeze and stuff, and I could like try to get connection to the natural thing instead of just like, okay, with everybody. I'm looking at an X-Men apocalypse. So people are driving by and they see this like monster, and he's got his hands on a blue woman's neck and he's squeezing her, and he looks like a Nephilim, and she looks like, something like that too, like, something from man's iniquity and gene splicing. Oh, that's bad. Anyway, I don't even know if it sounds, but it doesn't matter, because life is just one shot. So take it. Don't hurt nobody, not like killing people and stuff. Just take a good shot at becoming successful and doing what you want to do. And don't get caught up in material hype, because it all ends. And a lot of it's money based. And realize what your adrenaline should be used for. Don't kill your body when you're young. You'll regret it when you're older. That's just a big cover. See, the Haitian people like to do that. They'll pull up and they'll just like mope around, act like it's something, and they're scoping out stuff. And then, they'll get the women to go out there and like do the yard sales. And I'm not saying every one of us is a thief, but there's always some kind of scam going on. It's like they used to say the gypsies, because, okay, if the three people on the cross, one of them was a gypsy, and they stole bread and gave it to Jesus, then they're allowed to steal, they're allowed to rape and prostitute their women, because in the Bible, they gave Jesus bread, so they're pardoned. So, you really got to consider what religion is worth today. And, I like the Christian values, but I don't think Catholic has a place, because they're all over that frickin' dollar. So positivity is knowing what out there can be negative. So that is a positive thing, believe it or not. And that's what God wants you to learn sometimes. And if you ignore it because you think it's controversial, or it's going to hurt somebody else or ruin somebody else's day, then, how many days are ruined on account of somebody else that never put the accountability towards them? You know what I'm saying? So what difference does it make? my dreams, I can see the best of times. I live my life like I'm dying on that line. And in the end, I'll be back again. I'll be there in the end. You know you got one friend. You're gonna have to take me away, 'cause I can't speed up the time. You're gonna have to buck up and pay, worth much more than your times. And if you spend your life and you reach the end, you know you got one friend. I'll be there in the end. God gave me this. Wanted me to get the message. You got a friend, you believe it. You're gonna have to take me away, 'cause I can't speed up the time. You're gonna have to buck up and pay, worth much more than your times. And if you spend your life and you reach the end, you know you got one friend. In my dream, we've had the best of times. We lived our life like we were dying on that line. And in the end, we'll be back again, hopefully not. I'll be there, you've got one friend. I'll be there in the end. Florida's rough, dude. I've been working like a bunch of hours, and it starts to, first it's humid, it starts to get fucking sweltering. And you know what, if Jesus and all those people were alive and you says, yeah, fuck yeah, man, fucking A, that's like hype, that's not negative, and it's used in a positive, you know, and people could take stuff and put it as a negative just because of the value and the face value, like the courts do. They use the word and then they don't look at what the word actually is pertaining to. Just up the word, we're judging you on that. So, you know, there's judgment out there all the time. I judge people left and right because they judge me. I start with an open slate, and I may be hypocritical, but I don't think I'm that bad. Because I'm just doing the same thing, and where I'm not folding and bending where other people do is like with moral values and stuff. So like a lot of people, like if money's involved, business is business and that's it. Okay, so because business is business, you're allowed to fuck your friends over. You know, if you own a restaurant or something and the waitresses are there, you don't have the right to make them clean tables and stuff unless you're actually paying them another hourly wage. And half the time, you know, they don't. So, you know, you're getting something for free. If you're contracted and working for somebody, and if you do have a good reputation and they're judging you and they don't want to pay you upfront deposits, then you know what? They're an American that's incapacitating another American with an excuse that, oh, well, you know, my coveted paper dollars, you know, I have to be there for every second. These are my babies. And yet you're doing something for them. But, you know, like an employer is allowed to hold 2 weeks. So if you're going to be like evicted or your electric's going to go off in 4 days and your employer's allowed to hold 2 weeks and you worked a week already, and you know, oh well, I want to make sure you have something this way in case we fire you or you don't make it. So you're gonna fuck me up ahead of time, so you could say, okay, I'm gonna hurt you until later, you know. and they hold the money, so they don't have to pay interest on it. And like if you're late on your bills, you have to pay payments. But if your employer's late on giving you your check or your pay, they don't have nothing. There's no repercussion for them. And if you don't have a home address and you're homeless for a second and you could do the job and be there and you're willing to just like hang out at 24-hour places and then go to work for a couple weeks to make it, even considering that you've accepted that, they won't accept you either because you don't have a home address. And they're the ones that put you there. And you know what? They go home at the end of the day with their families, and all of a sudden their kids, they smoke a joint and then they have the same problems, and then all of a sudden the parents are like, well, you know what? It's because you're smoking weed and you're not our kid no more. So then, it's like, okay, yeah, Dad, but I tried to get a job and they want to hold 2 weeks. And well, son, that's a law. Yeah. You're supposed to be born with money. You're supposed to be. If you're not born with money, you're doing something wrong. And you can't blame your fathers and mothers. You can't do that because, they don't have to be accountable because they were here first. So we have to forgive them. And they don't have to ease up for us, but yet we have to forgive them. So as we go through the day and we learn things, and a lot of us that have went to church or go to church, you're going to learn about respect and consideration and forgiveness. But that's a one-way street in church. For Catholics, it's a one-way street, because as soon as money's involved, they don't have to forgive nothing. They make the rules, and it's up to you to kiss their ass. And you know what? If that wasn't true, then a priest, say, and this is a textbook story, okay, a priest that, does 50 years of service, 49 years of good service, and on his 50 years decide to touch a little boy or something, and they find something that he did a long time ago and dig it up, they're like, oh, wait, but we're going to look at his 49 years and we're going to ease off on him. But what about the destroyed life of that person that he ruined, their life? Like me, when I was falsely prosecuted, they didn't care that I found a gun on the road and turned it in. That didn't matter. They just wanted to look at what they wanted to do. So, when you go to church today and then you leave church and you get in your car or your vehicle and you buckle your seatbelt, think about what freedom is. As you put that tie on and you pay that money and you put them shiny shoes on and you got the extra material and on loopies and buttons and crap and switches and shit. Think about what it's worth, not in the monetary sense, but like how much it costs, how much time and energy it costs, and the rate of exchange, because you're wrong for doing it. I wish everybody could be as free as me in idea and ideals, because if you were, then you would see it's not worth investing and it's better to stand and say something. There's kids, there's parents, there's people without kids, and if they move into a district that's next to a school, they have to pay school tax, and they don't have kids. You got insurance in a van, you have to wear your seatbelt. You got insurance on a motorcycle, you don't have to. You can't tell me how to live. You can't say I don't give. You can't judge me if I'm wrong or right. I stand with God and all my might. It don't matter what they saw, or the troubles we've been through. The past don't hold nothing for people like me anymore, no. These old dogs push on through. I don't care what they say, neither should you, or what they may do, they'll pay. I hope things go your way, and you smile your whole life through. Okay, so, people like to rebuke negativity in the name of Jesus. I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. I stopped doing that because I rebuke the devil in the name of God. Okay, I rebuke negativity in the name of God. I rebuke the negative, evil, deceitful, greedy, selfish, heartless, narcissistic, just, tormenting hearts that drive people in their minds to hurt other people. I rebuke them people. And you know what? I don't care about them people. I don't care about their families who support them. I don't care about their friends who are in between. Because there's different places to be. And if you don't decide where you are, then you get placed. And I've decided that I want to live righteous. I've decided that I don't want to take any kind of punishment for bullshit based on another man's perception and values. I've decided that time doesn't go by your dollar or your clock, because you can't make plants grow. You can't make water boil when you watch it. So you need to get the fuck away from me if you're like that. Because your money means nothing here. There's money everywhere. And if you think that your couple dollars distinguishes you, you're probably the type of guy or girl that's got like a $200,000 sports car that I would see at a gas station that looks like 20 other ones that I'd say, hey, you want to pinstripe that or write a personal monogram or do some stuff? And you'll be like, oh, no. Because that's your standard. And the problem is I used to like your standard, but you perverted it and you fucked the rest of us with it because you made that standard the only standard, because you and your friends got together and you sucked the life out of us. And I know that there's plenty of churches that are just absolute pieces of shit. There's people in churches right now claiming to be righteous, and they don't deserve to be holy or respected as reverent. And they're fishers of men, and they're fishers of the blind. And they will be led themselves by the paths they put other people through. And I'm fine with that, because I've lost life already. And I've had so much life that I feel like I'm satisfied, God. Thank you. You've created an awesome, beautiful world. And, the people didn't spoil it for me. The people with bad hearts and bad intentions, they didn't spoil it. And there's a lot of people out there that I'm talking to right now, and that we're communicating, and we've never even saw each other. And there's so much life in these people without judgment that's placed in front of us. And I hope that you can find that too, and have time. Because if you don't make time, then man will take all your time, and man made time. So man has got your time spent already. You know, when you're moving on up, you're not supposed to be moving to the east side or west side. You're supposed to move up in here, because then you can perceive of what you really need to survive. And you know what? If you need people, how are you going to attract those people to survive? Are you going to buy something to embellish yourself, or buy something for them, and then when it wears off or it runs out, the people are gone? So get your act together. And I don't want to go through this week with people telling me and showing me their money value. Okay, you got to show me you're worth my time, and then I'll tell you how much my time is worth. And if you don't respect me for it, then I don't have to respect you at all or give you my time, because you ain't worth it. God bless everyone. May you have peace and prosperity and the ultimate goodness and the spirit of goodness and the power and spirit of the Almighty and the force of creation. May it be yours. And you know what? If you don't want to define it, then don't, because you're better off that way. And if someone defines it and you feel good about it, then rejoice with that person on your connectivity. But don't buy someone else's image. Don't buy someone else's idea, because I can promise you, you're going to be sorry in the end, because you're not you. You're not being you. And that's the most important thing you should do every day, is when you wake up, you just decide who you are and validate yourself for yourself without expecting from others. You know, entitlement's bullshit. Get the fuck out of my face. Yeah, all right, it's Sunday, and I'm cursing because I'm alive with intensity and passion for life. Okay, and I've got black and white on my hands, so I'm not biased right now. But you got to go get what you want, and if you see me, treat me nice, because you know what? You can expect that I'm going to treat you nice and be nice to you. And I only want to talk about inspiration and goodness and the righteous things. And if it's a negative subject, I'll talk about it, because I know that it's righteous and good to find an end to the misery and atrophy of our people. You're in a good spot if you're in America. And if you're someplace else and you have the mindset, your idea and your mindset of freedom can be American, even if you've never set foot on this soil. So take that and run with that. You know, I see people in China and Brazil and Egypt and all these other countries standing up. That's American, okay? Because you're not afraid anymore, okay? And I put a label on it because it needs a label. It needs a label because of where we come from and how we've been. Bye. Thank you.